Hello. How we doing?
Oh, I got the big chair today,
You
Chef.
got
I
the
feel
big
really
chair.
important.
And you've got a song in your heart again, I see.
Yes, well, you know, sleep deprivation does funny things to people. I tend to get more energetic and more chatty and more ridiculously silly. I'm not
Great.
quite so stoic when I'm sleep deprived.
Well, you get these awful nicknames when you're stoic.
I do have some terrible nicknames.
So you don't want to be contemplative. If you dance like a clown all the time,
Yeah.
people will like you. If you're serious,
Yeah.
people will make up nicknames about you. But if you're just a silly clown,
Mm-hmm.
people
Yeah.
will love you.
Yeah. So this you're getting the clown version of Ed, not the EFB version. EFB, just ask around. Anyway, my name is Ed for real. This is Chef Chris for real, and we do virtual tastings with you every week. This is to reach out to the people that don't come for whatever reason to our Thursday night tastings that we do here in person.
I wouldn't come to it either.
Oh, you just sit on the
I would
couch.
much rather pick up the wine and the food
Oh, yeah.
and be at home.
Yeah, you'd be on the couch, and you would drink all the wine before watching the video.
Mind your business.
It would. So, if you can't be here,
Yeah,
you
well.
watch this video. It's just as good and just as tasty because Chef will give you this beautiful food to take home with your 2 bottles of wine,
You probably get more in your box to go than you do here anyway.
probably. And you don't have to deal with all those drunken fools.
Don't talk about yourself like this.
That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, we have a great time here in person. It's very social, lots of 30, 40 people about every week, having fun, talking about wine, drinking wine, and ordering wine. So if this fits into your lifestyle, we'd love to see you Thursday night, 6 p.m. downtown Mount Airy, North Carolina, Old North State Winery. That's our boss. That's who supports us, makes the dream real so that we can get at least 30 likes a week.
Amen.
Yeah. So don't forget to like and share and
Subscribe.
and thank you for those that have been asking questions out there because we love to answer or just simple comments. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that means a lot to us.
One
We
day-
love the interaction.
This is just a training ground for us to be viral wine.
This is going to be our full-time gig eventually.
Yeah, eventually. And we do get some really good news of travel, Chef.
Staggeringly, we hinted about it last week.
Yeah.
We brought it up, but it's
But now it's
but now we've
real.
got the
The
plane
plane
tickets, the house,
Mhm.
everything's booked.
The
It's happening
breakfast
no
chef.
matter what. The breakfast chef, everything's happening no
Up
matter
at the
what.
pool.
Up to pool. No matter what happens, no matter what's going on in life, we're going.
Yeah.
Can't
Yep.
get out of it.
Sorry, we're already locked in, folks. We're flying to Portugal, and we're going to do our video from there.
And I've crafted a letter to the Portuguese Wine Growing Association to make sure they
Bulk up.
bulk up. Because I'm sure they've had a few rowdy tourists in their day, but they're gonna need to
But
bring some stuff out of the warehouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got some parched folks headed to Portugal, so we're really
I've
excited.
decided I'm not gonna drink water until then.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great
That's
idea.
good. Just train. So we are very fortunate to have a distributor of all things South African. Andy at the Elephant's Corner has a wonderful portfolio, and he's just boosted it up once again. So we got a couple of new ones from him that he came in and met with us. It was last Thursday. He came in.
It was so good. It was I'd forgotten he was coming, and I went upstairs and saw you two tasting. I was so happy because we've been back in the home motherland for a while.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
great he brought some new stuff back. He's
Yeah.
always working, always
And,
hustling.
and we are putting together an event in January, so we're really excited about that. And many of you remember the huge success we had at his last wine dinner.
Huge.
And Chef Chris did his versions, his take on South African cuisine that was extremely well received.
Even Andy liked it.
Even Andy, a South African food snob, liked it. Just
So-
kidding, Andy. I know you're not a snob, but I know you know what it's supposed to taste like.
He was happy.
He was real happy. So we're going to start with 2 of the latest that we've been able to receive from him. This is Cloud Haven to start off. It's a Sauvignon Blanc from the Elgin Valley, and that is approximately about an hour's drive, in from the Cape Town. when I say in, I mean heading east, inland. So this is, well, Chef and I, gosh, do you like it?
I love it. I didn't get
Yeah.
to try it. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
you had featured it at the chef's table, and I didn't.
Oh yeah, just
there was none left for me.
both of these wines were featured at the chef's table. I bought these wines, and then Chef just coincidentally had menus where these wines fit perfectly. We did
Just a softball.
we did the flabbergast with a beautiful pate on Sunday, and today we did the Cloud Haven Sauvignon Blanc with a beautiful verde sauce and amberjack.
Yeah, it was great.
God, they were going
They
crazy.
went nuts. And he didn't even like fish, and he ate every. He was like cleaning his bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when someone comes to the chef table and says, "Oh, I don't do anything you have here," and then eats all of it and goes, "Now I do."
Yeah, that's
So
the way
cool.
to. But generally speaking, Chef Chris and I are big Sauvignon Blanc fans, and even more specifically, we love the Loire Valley and we love South African. And I would say probably Chilean third, maybe.
Chilean
first.
third for sure. You know, we're not knocking on New Zealand, but
no.
those are like
Those
those are not food wines. Those are big
Those are-
standalone, and they'll knock you over in a good way, in a very good way. They're fabulous wines, but we're more the nuanced folks. Certainly, Chef Ed's more nuanced. But
Well,
my palate tends to favor yours as well. So I mean,
particularly in the whites, I think we're closer to each other even more so in the whites.
Mhm.
But this is all, to me, what I love about South Africa is they tend to almost always have French varietals. There's very few exceptions of that. And in addition to that, it still has a sense of place. It doesn't taste French, but I would say there's some similarities. There's probably more similarities to French than other places, I would say, that South Africa has.
unmistakably and undeniable.
But-
I mean, absolutely.
But I don't know, I want to say that
Excuse me.
their fruit seems to be like a little, it's approaching sweet. Obviously it's a dry wine, but the fruit concentration to me in South Africa, it comes across almost, the fruit is so fresh, it tastes almost sweet, but it's not sweet.
Well, and you know, when we think about it, you know, you and I we're big dry people, but when you think about it, that's a huge compliment.
Mhm.
Because it should be. I mean, you pull up, if you can bottle that freshness, even after fermentation, after aging, after all the things, you know, for it to still be lively,
Right.
is a huge accomplishment.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's a testament to the winemaker and the viniculture programs there, because I mean their fruit is always bright, even if it has tannin, even if it has great acid, even if it has all these things, it's still like plucking a grape off the vine.
Mm. Well, quintessential flavor profile here. You're going to get some pithiness, citrus pith. I would say certainly some green apple, probably some pear, maybe some tropical, little tropical, maybe a little underripe tropical in there.
Maybe a little guava,
Yeah.
but the green apple all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I get the papaya peel.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
guava,
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
To me, those are very green things. You know,
Sure.
they're not overly sweet and like you would have like for breakfast, like a ripe chopped one, but like the
Right.
peel and guava to me always has a little sour. It's more like a sour candy.
Mm.
So good.
Such a long finish.
I had to pour some more because you were saying all these words. I'm like, I forgot to look for that. So
Yeah, this is, here's the thing. This is a wine that you have to take pause to analyze because it's so delicious you just want to keep drinking it. And so it's just like, boom, it's gone. It's because it keeps you reaching for it. And I think that should tell you everything you need to know
Well,
about
and
the
I
wine.
think also too, when we're talking about the differentiation of the styles, you know, the Loire and the South African ones don't have that pucker factor.
Mhm.
You know, that
Yeah.
to whereas a lot of the other styles can really
Mhm.
kind of like the sour candy thing.
Sure.
That you can get real puckered up with and the cheeks with they're so over the top. But these are more restrained. I would say the South African Loire is a better expression, a better restrained, even maybe more pure. Excuse me.
Sure.
They don't get kind of out of control or wild on you. This is a beautiful refined wine. I wish I would have sat down with those people and eaten today rather than cooked for them now.
Wouldn't that have been nice? Excuse me, is there room for me at the table? Yeah, so this is a great example from Elgin Vineyards of what, or vintners rather, of what you can do with this beautiful French grape. And it is a grape that shows a sense of place when you have one from California, if you have one from Australia, certainly New Zealand. They're all different, and that's a good thing. And I think if you're not drinking South African whites, you should certainly consider them. We were having a conversation today at our lunch chef's table about how Pinotage came to be, and there's such a reputation for that grape in South Africa, and I think that yes, that's great that they have that grape, but my gosh, it's across the whole board. Everything that we have, like that Merlot we had last week was wonderful. Syrahs are beautiful there.
I love their Syrahs because they're not overly jammy.
Right.
That's my least favorite wine. Syrahs and Zins are my least favorite wines. Not like the high-end ones that don't have that characteristic.
Yeah.
But just your like middle of the road Syrahs and Zins, it'd be like, you know what, I'm good.
They're a little chewy.
They're too chewy for me.
Yeah.
They're too jammy for me. And that has nothing to do. That's just my palate. It has nothing to do with the quality of the wines. It's just. So I mean, it's wonderful that we have all these different. There's something for, like you were talking about. There's something for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to love one thing more than another, or this style more than the other, because there's always somebody making it differently, just for that person who craves whatever stylistically that vineyard or area is offering.
Chef, I'm getting almost now that I've had about 7 or 8 sips, a little bit of chalky on the tongue, little chalk. That reminds me of the Loire.
A little water. You're getting that limestone seabed. Although I would imagine as close in as this is, you probably got some seabed going on, some ancient seabed.
Certainly possible.
I mean, it's not that far from the Cape. And certainly the way the earth and the oceans and the continents have shifted and done, I would imagine you have some of that. A lot of great.
Once again, Cloud Haven, beautiful Sauvignon
The lime
Blanc.
is really coming out in this now.
Yeah.
It's warming up a little bit. We're getting the.
Oh yeah, it's got a great texture too, full weight to it.
No doubt.
For a
No
Sauvignon.
doubt. Simply delicious.
Well, Chef, wine number 2 for today's, also from the Elephant's Corner portfolio, and this is Cinsault. And this is a grape that we don't see very often, at least stateside here. We don't see Cinsauts by a single varietal very often. This is called Flabbergast. It's from Erika Obermeyer, and she was the winemaker at what was it? Graham, the bubbly
Graham
producer. Graham Beck. Thank you very much, Chef. You are so smart. I wish I could remember as much as you do. So Graham Beck, Graham Beck used to have still wines, but they transitioned all the way to their bubblies, and I think that Erika wanted to do some more still wines, and as the winemaker for 10 years, she was ready to go out anyway and do her own thing. And so these are her wines. She has a beautiful portfolio. I expect to see more of it. Andy got to meet her and talk to her about her wines, and this basically she called it Flabbergast. It is a Cinsault, but she called it Flabbergast because of her reaction of how blown away she was. Now, if you don't know, winemakers know Cinsault is hard to make in a palatable way. Maybe that's a rough thing, but it can get kind of wild on you. It can be a rather unruly, and once you taste this, you're going to be like, this is not unruly, this is silk. And this is one of the best straight Cinsauts that I've ever had. I absolutely love it. And I've been drinking a lot of it the last 7 days.
Yeah, and the reaction makes sense because, you know, to even see someone put Cinsault as a standalone varietal is bold. You know, even someone just like, that's all I had. So I bottled it, you know. So, you know, it's not, that's why it's not called pleasantly surprised. It's straight up flabbergasted, you know. I mean, this is like...
Now, many of you enjoy the wines of the Southern Rhone of France, and that's where we see Cinsault as a blending partner to so many wines. As a matter of fact, Chef and I serve Banyuls for dessert at the chef's table, and that often is, well, it has to be more than half Grenache, you know, 51% or more. But Cinsault is the other blending grape for that, and that's super, super common. You'll see it in Côte de Rhone sometimes. Yeah, we have that GSM thing going on in that area. Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre.
But even in those GSMs, there's usually one or two other grapes down there at the bottom, but you know, in the small print,
right,
where it says your interest rate's going up 41%.
right.
That's normally where they put like the Cinsault.
Cinsault gets tucked down there for sure. And so that should tell you something. If something is such a small percentage, is that it's a powerful grape. If it's showing in a blend with a very small percentage, it's a powerful grape.
Yeah, normally when you see and correct me if I'm wrong, normally like when you read a lot of blends, you'll have 30, 30, 30, or 35, and then you'll have 2 or 3 grapes. I mean, that's for, usually the blending grapes are to add color, like to get more ink into it, or to give it a little spice or something like that. Or alcohol, right. And so those, they all play a role.
Yeah.
And everybody's kind of usually, you know, they're like, oh, we're going to dump this in there for color, we're going to dump this in there for whatever, but they never really consider it as like it's going to shape the wine.
Sure.
But now you're talking, that's a game changer.
Sure, and you know, when you say like 33, 33, 33, I always think of Cava, you know, because those 3 grapes that they use are almost always just like
just
perfect,
right
like
down, yes.
Completely fair to every grape, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, Cinsault...
I wonder if the grapes complain.
Right.
Hey, I'm over here at 29%.
They went on strike. Yeah.
And like all my friends are at 33.
Yeah. Speaking of on strike, I believe it was the shipping yards went on strike in South Africa. So we were really fortunate to get these wines at all because everything's been delayed. So hopefully that's being straightened out. So our next round of juice will be good to go in December and January, I think Candy was telling me about. So we'll have even more new wines to come. He was at the
How exciting is that?
He was at the big Cape Town, I think it was in Cape Town, it was certainly in the Western Cape, the big wine show down there. And he got to meet a lot of these winemakers and expand his portfolio whilst keeping the ones that he had. And of course, his partner and winemaker are going to be in town the next several days, and I'm very excited. I get to go meet with him in the morning.
That's wonderful.
We're going to talk wines and hopefully maybe even get some juice.
Does he have any like little secret bottles that he was waiting to pour for you? Hopefully we can hear some stories.
I sure hope so. But
maybe we can hear some stories about
we do love learning about wine. There's no better place to learn it than from the winemaker. So
well, and with your connection with Andy, you're getting what I love so much about. I mean, wine is wine, but you get all these cool boutique wines.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
You know, that you would never find
look
anywhere
at this
in the
bottle.
world.
It's
I mean,
freaking gorgeous.
Are you kidding me?
It's a beautiful label, big deep punt, heavy glass, and this is for a Cinsault. I mean, you know,
you've already sold a bunch of it, which is like shocking.
Sure.
It's like, you know, if you went to an expo or a little thing and you were talking about, how many people are gonna go up? Yeah, I moved like 3 cases of Cinsault last week, and they're like, what? What are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, how cool is that? And of course, as you and I were speaking, you know, the flabbergasted helps.
Yeah, we
It's a eye catcher.
We kid around about at our Thursday night tastings. You know, I'll tell people, it's like, hey, we're all real good at the top 10 grapes. We're all very familiar with those 10 grapes, and we buy them all the time. But there's all these delicious grapes just outside the top 10 that deserve your attention.
Or the top 30.
Or the top, yeah. But I mean, there's thousands of varietals. Even if you know, my mentor, Dan Nelson, we wanted to join the Century Club, and that is a club where you you have 100 varietals and you document
100
them,
varietals
and you get a
under your
little
belt.
you get a little badge but you would think that would be really easy considering there's thousands of them, and it was kind of difficult. You
Yes.
start rattling off the varietals that you've had off the top of your head, okay, and then if you really think about it, maybe looked at some bottles, you probably add 10 or 20 more, but you're going to find out you're still about 50 short.
I would say a minimum of 50. However, I would say that the common, this would be a fun experiment, but the person who frequents the winery, whether it be the tastings or buying wine off your specials, has probably had as many varietals as a lot of somms out there and didn't know it.
They just don't know it.
And you would say, if you like interviewed them and like, well, tell me about Macabeo.
Right.
Tell me about Cinsault.
Sure.
Tell me about
Yeah.
all these, and they would be like, "What are you talking about?"
Right.
Even though
They've had it.
they've had it all multiple times, and they've had all these. I mean, that's just like I'm just throwing two things out
Those
there.
are two perfect examples.
But they would have half a batch,
Sure.
and not even know it.
Yeah, I
And
totally
think that
agree with
just
you.
speaks to your genius, and
Speaking of
you're
badges,
not going to be like, "Here's another Merlot."
right. Yeah. I'm not. I'm
Hey,
not-
Dave,
I'm
we
not
love
picking-
Merlot. I mean, I'm not talking junk. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
saying.
We
You bring such a varied portfolio, and it's just such a treat for everyone.
we always circle back around to the big boys. Yeah.
Right, they're big
we-
boys for a reason.
We dip back into the Merlots and the even like big producers.
Cab
Then we did
and
Mare
King-
Soleil
yeah,
recently.
Chard, but I mean,
like,
they belong there. They earn their way there.
Sure.
No one said, "Oh, well, Cab is it." I
right.
mean, Cab fought their way to the top
Yeah.
and established themselves, so they belong there. But I mean, I just love how you're not that guy. I just admire that so much.
Well, I want to thank Erika for making this beautiful Cinsault.
Thanks,
So,
Erika.
it is perfectly dry. It's so fruity though. Man, is it fruity. And just such a feminine approach to this grape that can be. This is like the queen of Cinsault in terms of this wine. It is so sophisticated. It's not unruly like a joker like me.
I feel like the wine was surprised. I feel like the vines were like, "Huh."
Yeah.
I mean,
it's such
they
a-
were
it's
just like,
such
can't
a
believe
pretty-
they did this.
It's such a pretty wine, and I hope that y'all are enjoying as much as Chef Chris and I are about to enjoy some more. Actually,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
we've got to keep trying this to make sure it's safe for human
We've,
consumption.
I think we learned early on that one time
Mhm.
we didn't drink enough and we got it wrong, and we
Mhm.
doubled down and said we'd never make that mistake again.
You get that Cinsault nose, which is really really earthy, almost to me it approaches almost aquatic. There's this there's such an earth to it, wet earth, I guess, and nothing but fresh fruit on the palate, with just a very
You could even do
delicate hint of tannin.
seaweed,
Yeah,
dry
yeah.
seaweed.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. It absolutely is. It's such in harmony and balance here. This is their 2019. Remember, they're harvesting probably in February, so it's a little bit older than our North American wines that we make here. So you just add basically a half year or so. But this has had time to be exactly what it needs to be. The light on this, how it's just beautiful
See,
wine.
to me is like a young Nebbiolo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very, to me, it's very Italian.
Mhm.
It has so much balance early, but it's the color, the lightness of it. But in the Italian style, you pour a lot of Montepulcianos or Barolos. You pour them early; they're very light. You look at them and you go, "This ain't gonna be anything." And
And it is. Yeah.
then you get that dry, you get that lingering finish. And this, to me, finishes. I mean, this drinks like a fine Italian wine that's young.
Well, it is absolutely delicious, and
No, I mean,
it's
nothing-
probably nutritious,
Well, antioxidants,
right?
full of.
Yeah. So, Chef, what did we say we're gonna do with this?
We didn't. We just
I'm
rambling
sorry.
on.
I got so excited about trying this
It's
wine.
all right. We're gonna get to it. No.
What do you want to do with this beautiful?
So
Sauvignon Blanc?
I got in. We've been in a little dry spell with the smoked trout rub. So I'm gonna wrap some pastrami salmon in a little cup and fill it with smoked trout roe and top it with some of that Looking Glass feta.
Nice.
I think that'll be
Very
delicious.
creative, chef. And then what are you gonna do with this Cinsault?
The Cinsault, we're going to do a beautiful aged New York strip that's going to be seared and put on some smoky Darcy Farm bacon creamed Minglewood Farm kale.
Wow.
And that smoke
Yeah.
from the bacon and the creaminess of the kale, I think, and that's going to be the sauce for the steak. We don't need to do anything other than that. We'll just use the creamy, smoky texture of that with that aged beef. I think is going to sing with this.
I would concur. Absolutely. Mouth watering.
Mouth-watering, absolutely mouth-watering, delicate, but yet sturdy, you know, and it's like, what's hemp? You know, it's like so soft, but it's like stronger
Sure.
than iron or something.
Right.
So this would
Yeah,
be, you know, you pour it, you look at it, you go, really? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it just over-delivers.
We have two delicious wines that come from a beautiful place in the world. Remember, South Africa's top 10 in production in the world for wine. So it's not like this is an upstart. They've been doing it for about 400 or 500 years down there as well. They're probably the oldest of the New World, if you will. And we're very grateful to have a direct source and specializes in South African wine. It has nothing but South African wine and goes back regularly, calls it home. South Africa calls probably him
A native
a
son.
native son, yeah.
son.
Even though the two partners married North Carolinian ladies, which actually helped us.
I think
Does
that's the
that
whole reason we're experiencing this collaboration.
They could have started in any big city with this distribution. They started in North Carolina, Winston to be exact. We're grateful for it because we're South African wine fans.
We need to get Andy on one of these videos.
Absolutely.
He needs to be our guest on one of these soon.
We're
need
gonna
to
do it.
schedule that.
We're gonna do it
Because Andy is a fountain of knowledge and just a great personality. You know, lighthearted, always has a joke. You know, he's just. You know, you meet so many serious people, and he's
Sure.
just like, hey, you know, not that he doesn't take what he does seriously.
No, he's
but,
just not uptight.
I think our viewership would enjoy his
Candor.
affect and candor, and yeah, we got to make that happen.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Andy, hopefully you watch this
I
video.
hope you're watching.
We're gonna put you on the hook to be on here with us in our super high production studio.
Well, and
Does he realize though that we don't do any editing?
once he finds out that we pay everyone nothing,
Yeah.
he's gonna be like, I'm in.
And you gotta get it in one take. 'Cause
One
we
take.
we don't edit.
One take, and you have to donate your wine. And other than that, I mean, it's great. I mean, yeah,
That
all
means
the perks.
if he drops an F-bomb like I did in that one episode.
We're going with it. I even thought I was.
How do I not cuss more often?
It's so funny because I was driving back. I had to leave for a little bit to pick up my youngest from school, and I dropped her off at home and came back to do the video. And you know, I'm sure you do this too. But when I'm alone in the vehicle, that's kind of what I'm in.
Oh.
Because I don't want to be
Yeah.
around the staff, around the
Sure.
family, and be like, so I'm venting.
Yeah.
And I pull up back at the back of the winery. I'm like, one day I'm gonna snap on camera. I just know it. And I was just like, don't let it be today. I don't let it be today. You know, it's like we're just gonna have a good day.
Well, you've been.
I'm not having a good day, but we're just gonna have a good day, and I'm not gonna snap on camera today. I have to coach myself.
Today's not the day. Chef, you've been reeling me back in the last several days because I haven't slept in like a week
Well,
for
we
whatever
play
reason.
off each other.
And you're like, Ed, today's not the day.
That
The
guy
day-
ain't worth it.
That guy isn't worth
That guy's
it.
not worth it.
He's not worth it.
If you're gonna do it, make it worth it. And that guy ain't worth it.
Yeah.
So I had to talk you off the ledge there.
Yeah, I was right there looking down.
But I can tell you, I would have intervened because if that's going down, it's gonna be you and me together, and we're gonna ride out. But it's
Yeah.
not gonna be over that fella.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that fella doesn't deserve a shoelace.
He did. We got things settled, and he left with his tail between his legs.
Rightfully so.
But man, the arrogance. Boy,
Well,
anyway.
it's the indignant attitude coupled with the lack of knowledge. I mean, when you're,
Yeah.
and this is true, like when you go out in the world, and this is why I never go out anymore. It's always the imbeciles who are the most cocksure about everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the proudest.
Yeah.
They are the peacocks.
Yeah.
They are the loudest people. Everywhere you go, they're the first to call someone else out, and they don't have a lick of sense.
Yeah.
It's always the imbeciles
Yeah.
who are the most outward about,
Right.
and I guess it's a defensive mechanism
Sure.
because they're such simpletons.
Yeah.
But and then the people that that are like highly intelligent and super composed. I mean, they're just
Cool as a cucumber.
Well, you never
Yeah.
never see that. I mean,
Yeah.
I just and I think that what's his name this morning. And of course, we don't need to learn his name because he'll be gone soon again, like the rest of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect example of not having an inkling of understanding of their job
Right.
and how their job affects
Sure.
our business, and just the flippancy, the indignant attitude.
Mhm.
When he doesn't have any skin in the game.
None.
He doesn't have money sitting up there that he refuses to collect. He doesn't have a staff to pay and a business to run. He's just a moron rolling a cart back and forth.
He's just busy taking a company down that he represents.
Right. He's a cart boy.
And unfortunately, that company, I've tried calling everybody in that company, won't return my calls.
This is you know why? Because they've entrusted the cart boy
Yeah.
to be their ambassador out in the world.
Yeah.
So why would they answer their phone and take responsibility for them hiring the town jester?
It probably.
I mean, it's like, oh, are you the king? Yes. Do you know what a jester is for? Yes, I do. Then why did you make him your chief of staff?
Right.
They're gonna hang up and
Well,
never call you back.
they don't answer because they're probably on the golf course. Anyway,
Imbeciles.
I feel better now, Chef. I'm glad we could
You
talk
did great.
about
We worked through it.
And I didn't hurt anybody today.
Well, like I told you, it's only gonna hurt you. It wasn't gonna hurt. You think you losing your temper, like for real, would affect a simpleton like that? He wouldn't even know what you're talking about. And that's why I kept telling you. I was like, it's only gonna hurt you.
Yeah. You're right.
Because you were involved, you're dialed in, this is important to you. Shiny objects are important to him. Maybe. I can't believe he can drive.
Yeah, it's scary.
I honestly can't believe he can drive. Did you hear the other drivers mocking him for how he used his cart when he couldn't get his cart back onto he couldn't get it to hang back on his truck, and the guys that were in the other delivery were just like, "You need a hand there, Rocky?" Imbeciles, simpletons,
Well,
running the world. They're all running the world.
now that that's out there, you all had a good laugh. You gotta laugh instead of cry, or laugh instead of hit.
Well, laughing is much better than incarceration.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because when we finally get incarcerated,
Chef, I'm too pretty for prison.
okay. But once we finally get incarcerated, we're gonna make that count. That's gonna count. That's gonna be like every day we're in the yard,
We're gonna be
like knife fighting and like
playing
battling
high-stakes
rapists.
poker too.
We're gonna be like worth it.
Worth it. Yeah.
Worth every second of it. It's not gonna be over dude that can't hang a cart on his truck.
Good point.
It's gonna be every day. It's gonna be like, this is terrible. Worth it.
Worth it. Well, I hope it was worth it to hang out with us once again and taste these delicious wines. Those wine producers, I hope you watch the video, and I hope you don't take us too terribly seriously, but we do love your wines. We do love to ramble on about stuff, but these are serious wines, and we do take wine seriously. We just, we're real though. We like to talk about our daily lives and things too. So
there's room for both.
There's absolutely, and that's what we'll always do, and we continue to do it right here in the beauty of Chef Chris's office until we get moved somewhere else.
I'm gonna change out the art next week just because I have so much of it.
Okay.
Yeah, my mother is prolific.
She is that.
And also I've got a lot of other art. So I think we need to start changing. We're gonna start changing the art out. And we've got another little plan too coming up soon. So it'll be fun.
Yep. And we appreciate your dedication and support of the restaurant. Remember, Thanksgiving's coming up, so we can help you there with any kind of food items you need to take out. And if you are thinking about coming up for any kind of special occasion, I'm telling
Keep
you
us
what,
in mind.
keep us in mind. We got chef's tables galore. We've been doing them last couple Sundays and Wednesdays, and we got more coming this Sunday. We've
Been
got
packed.
the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which I've never thought anybody do a chef's
They're
table.
already
for.
starting to populate.
We're already populating for the day. That's Thanksgiving Eve, a 7-course meal.
But you think about it, it's brilliant. Like,
Eat good food and then
yeah, because, I mean, Thanksgiving Day is kind of a tradition fest.
yeah,
You can only have so much sweet potatoes and yeast rolls,
turkey gravy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's
Yeah.
great. I mean, the tradition's great, the
Sure.
family's great, but it's like brilliant. Let's do a chef's table night before and like remember who we are.
Just make sure you don't do turkey and ham and cranberry.
Oh, I'll rewrite it.
Yeah, you better,
I've got time.
rethink that one, Chef. Hey, we love all of you, each and every one of you. Come see us when you can. Until then, we'll see you right here.
Look forward to it. Thank you for all.